that angle will be. Whether it's a float serve or a topspin serve. So if I'm serving the ball, okay, and you already see where the server is standing, okay, so all of you should already have an idea of what your angle is going to be roughly. So what do you think your angle would be? Okay, and so she's going to have the largest angle because she has the biggest distance to cover over here. So that ball is coming and it's being served. And we're looking at this, and if that ball were to be landing here, then you know you can talk about just whipping your right shoulder a little bit more. If that ball is still being served from that right back corner, coming across to you, okay, you know. If the ball would be going across the court, this passer will end up having the smallest amount of angle to make it go towards the target. But notice how that angle changes based on where the server is. And so if I'm serving from here, like we just talked about, what are your angles? So go ahead and set it. Now if I'm serving from here, if I'm serving from over here, okay, and so this is something that everyone can already predetermine, knowing how much or how little angle I need to add to my platform to make it go towards the target. Okay. Any questions on this? I don't know how much detail or to go into.
How about seeing if we can get some coaches on the court and do what the players are just doing? So it's one thing to watch somebody do it, but I want to see some of the coaches get out there, preferably not the younger coaches so much, but Hunter, get out there, coaches, come on out there, just so you can see and feel.
I have one question.
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
So I'm going Wells Square guy.
Yeah.
So we're primarily taught to always drop back open to bring our left foot back, shuffle back. So
Yeah.
I know we were talking about dropping back to your right. So what situation am I teaching?
I'm a Gold Medal Square guy too. I'm a BYU guy. I grew up with it. I was coached it. Really, the only time is if someone is serving down the line from here. That's going to shift because the setter will be to the left side of that pass. So other than that, I think that it is a good concept, is that, you know, ideally you want your right foot forward, because what happens is if my right foot's forward, my body's behind the ball and I can aim it. Once I get around the other way, what you'll end up seeing passers doing is doing this, because it's difficult to shift towards that ball. And so if I'm keeping my right foot forward, it's an easy shift motion as opposed to swinging on. The exception is if you're in this passer, they're serving down the line, the passer is now to my left. Okay? In most cases, the setter is to my left. In most cases, the setter will be to the right. So now you are going to have left foot to do the exact mirror image. But it's really just for line balls to this pass.
So even if the ball, you're really back here, even if the ball is coming just to her right, you would have brought that point back.
Again, Gold Medal Square, they'll make the move to keep this ball here. What we do is we base it off the passer, especially libero. Libero we give a lot more leeway to, because if a lot of times we'll expect our libero to pass maybe 50% of the court. So for her, if that ball, and we're telling her it's okay for you to go to the right in that situation, for her to get all the way around and pass this ball, it probably won't happen. And that's why we do teach that drop safety. But again, we give a little bit more leeway to that top passer who's taking more court. But if we're taking in this instance, or let's say on this side here, if you've got a very, very small area, we ideally want them to keep that right.
I think that's a great question. I think the most important part of that is making sure they're opening their hips up. I think if you're opening up and you've got your left foot forward versus backpedaling with your right foot forward, you're more likely to make a better pass. So I think that opening your hip up is the most important thing. And like Coach Bruce said, you know, from middle back, if she's opening up this way and coming back around this way, it's going to be a difficult pass. And I think that's, and Coach Bruce just said it, you know, where he talked about what are you pushing. So praise the things that we're talking about doing right. If we're able to get them to open up rather than backpedal or just wildly running to a ball, one of the things that I constantly talk about is don't be result oriented. So just because the ball gets to the spot doesn't mean it was a great pass. You know, make sure they're opening up and going this way because they can be swinging, especially at the young ages. They get trained to where they feel like, well, the pass was good, so I did it good. But then that'll catch up with them as the players get better around them and they're hitting the balls harder. It's not, that same thing's not going to work. Swinging is not going to work. So making sure that they're holding their platform and teaching them that, okay, you might not be the best passer on the team right now, but you're doing some of the best technical stuff that we're asking you to do. But Hunter asked a great question. But again, I think that as a coach, we have to pick our battles a little bit and determine what. And even Coach Bruce said, this one player, she gets more leeway because we're asking her to do more things. Now, if it's just a matter of, if it's a straight line, the server's serving from 1 and she's in position 5 and I'm serving and she drop steps with the wrong foot, then certainly I think we could say, don't open up your right foot and then your left foot's forward on that pass. Be sure you're doing this, you know. On that split where she's going that way, you know, it's okay to have leniency there as a coach. Does that make sense? All right.
What are the thoughts on overhead?
I think other questions.
She said, what are our thoughts on
Overhead passing.
So,
I love it, personally. I don't know. You know, I think the rules allow the ugliest balls to be played and be illegal with overhand passing. And so, whether or not you plan on using it, I think it is a good skill to train because as long as your hands are up high, you can do pretty much anything you want and allow it. You know, and it's clean. You know, once it gets low, the only thing they can really call is a lip. So as long as it's here and it's like this, that's still legal. And so, old school, it's the ugliest thing. It drives me crazy when I see it, but I think the rules as they are now permit it, and so I think sometimes you have to take advantage of it, especially to me with the less fundamental players. You know, a lot of times middle hitters, especially if they haven't been trained as a passer throughout, which I think is a tremendous disservice to them, but I think a lot of times you'll see middle blockers, especially at the college level, who haven't passed very many balls in their life, but they have fairly strong hands. And so a lot of times we'll have our middles, if they're going to pass, drop back to say 12, 13, 14 feet. We tell them we want them passing 90% of their balls with their hands. We don't want them using their form unless they absolutely have to. Even in the front row, ideally, instead of taking that ball here and trying to finesse it over, I'd much rather than get there and mangle it, but land it on top of the setter's head and pass a 3-option ball so that we can really take a good swing. And so, personally, I think it's a good skill. I think at the college level, they're going to need it. And so you might as well train it whether or not you end up implementing it in game practice or in game situations or not.
and I think, from what I've seen and the experiences I've had, and I think why Coach Bruce kind of chuckled at the beginning is because there's some people that they're steadfast against it. They say, don't ever do that. You should never take the hand. I would agree with Coach Bruce. And even in a situation where you have somebody that is trying to hide the serve receive,